Let's roll.
Let's roll. Ready, set, let's roll. Ready, set, let's ride.
Yeah, we are live in the STG here on the Fan Sports Network. Good morning on a Monday. And one of the things everybody around town is buzzing about, if you got young athletes that love the game of football, D1 Dream Camp is back for another exciting camp this Friday and Saturday, May 12th and 13th. There's another one up in Provo later this month. But if you have young athletes looking for skill development, they do combine testing. They do a little 7-on-7. And one of the coaches that's going to be at the D1 Dream Camp is Jacob Conover, who joins us live on the show. Good morning, Jacob. How are you, buddy?
What's happening? I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, excited to have you on the show. Where are you calling us from right now?
Right now, we're on a little summer break from ASU, so I'm up in Provo right now.
Okay, I love it. You know, talk about the excitement of coming to St. George and working with some of the up-and-coming football players at the youth level and at the high school level.
You know, thinking back to last year, we had an amazing turnout at the D1 Dream Camp as its opening year, and to have it, be sparking up again, to be able to do round two is just so exciting.
Yeah, let's talk about, you're going to be, I'm assuming, working specifically with any quarterbacks that come up to the Dream Camp. I mean, that's obviously, I don't see too many other quarterbacks as far as coaches go other than Reggie Graff. So you and Reggie, I think Cade Finnegan is here too. So you three are going to be specifically working with the quarterbacks. Is that going to be correct?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
I love it. What give us a breakdown of what you guys are going to be working on for parents out there listening of up and coming quarterbacks.
So one of the biggest things that, taking a little sidetrack here from that question is, it was so awesome that we did this camp because as, collegiate athletes, you have a lot of time to think and how in ways you can give back. And so for this to be a camp for just college players to be coaches is so amazing, just because we're learning firsthand, helping these kids what it really takes and the knowledge it takes and the relationships you need to build to play at the next level. And so with these QBs, it's so important that, one, we're going to teach fundamentals, right? There's base fundamentals. Everyone should, be able to know how to throw a football and things like that. We're going to help kids do that. But the mental side of things and just the knowledge and the relationships you build and how to do that is so important that parents don't realize. And so I think that's one thing that me, Cade, and us three coaches are going to be able to bring to the table is helping these kids understand the mental side of things that takes them to play with playing football.
I love it. D1dreamcamp.com. You can see all the coaches. You can register right on the website. If you register before Thursday night, I think it's a little more affordable than if you do walk-up or register on Friday. I'm curious on your journey now to ASU, Jacob. Bring us up to speed, the decision to go in the portal and go back home because you grew up in Chandler. Talk to me a little bit about that whole dynamic. We're seeing that so often in college football, but I want to talk about your journey and how it's going so far.
I appreciate that question. I don't think dreams ever end, but sometimes they change, and the route to reach those goals sometimes, varies and changes. And so I was grateful for my time at BYU, and I realized through a lot of prayer that maybe some change needed to happen. So I'm going back home to Arizona State, and it's been really awesome to have a spring ball under my belt there and to learn and mesh and grow under Kenny Dillingham and Coach Bo Baldwin and to help rejuvenate some of my playing. And it's been so much fun just to be back home playing for the hometown and, just reliving some new energy.
And Jacob, you talked about your new head coach, Kenny Dillingham. We saw what he did with Bo Nix when it seemed everyone was out on him. He was in the transfer portal, goes to Oregon, has a career year. Do you see Kenny as somewhat of a quarterback whisperer that's going to help your game tremendously?
One of the biggest things I've learned from Coach Dillingham is his ability to connect with every position. His ability as a coach to also be a teacher and a person raises every single player's ability, and it has just been amazing to watch. So I understand why Bo and Oregon in general had such an amazing year because of his influence. His ability to increase the knowledge and overall football IQ of all of his players is a real, plus side of his coaching ability.
And Jacob, kind of talk a little bit, just going back to the camp here, what are some of the drills and some of the age groups and position-specific things that we're looking at getting in, just so some of those kids know what they're getting into if they come out?
For the D1 Dream Camp, I highly recommend everyone, if they can, make it out to this camp. We're going to have college athletes coaching at every position, putting kids through drills that we do in a college setting. You know, we're going to do the combine testing, which is very real and matters a lot because of perception. And then we're going to be put into individual specific drills, helping us teach technique, fundamentals, and also player efficiency. You know, as you can learn these it's getting more and more competitive at the younger ages, which is amazing. But as these kids can understand how to make the most out of these little opportunities, like a Friday and Saturday at a D1 Dream Camp, I would highly recommend too.
And Jacob, I just wanted, even though it is in the rear view now that you're at Arizona State, what are your expectations for the BYU Cougar football program as they head into the Big 12? They obviously lose Jaron Hall, Puka Nacua off the offense, Blake Freeland, a lot of players. And this is the first season in a very, very tough conference. What are your expectations for them?
You know, I just expect them to fight. You know, I wouldn't expect them to lay down because they've wanted this challenge. They've wanted to be in the Big 12 and talk to the Big 10, years ago and Big 12 years ago. I think BYU's been waiting for this opportunity to prove themselves on a bigger stage in a set conference. So I'm really excited for them to see how they do. And, still having a lot of friends and dear friends on the team. I'm rooting for them and hoping nothing but for the best.
Jacob Conover with us, Arizona State quarterback. How did spring ball go, Jacob? Take us through spring. And reps are important. Where are you sitting on the depth chart? How were the reps? How did the team look? Give us a little breakdown there. We're curious to see your thoughts on that.
I think we're going to be the sleeper pick of the Pac-12. I'm super excited. No one really emerged right now. Coach Dillingham's taking it day by day, and so there's going to be competition into fall camp to see who plays out to be the starter. But I'm really excited to keep competing this summer and mesh with the guys. We've got some exciting players on this team and a lot of transfers, so it's all about building relationships with this team. But Arizona State is going to be a different breed this year, and I'm really excited about it.
And Jacob, a guy that's in your position battle is Jaden Rashada, a guy that big story about him was the $13 million NIL deal that fell through at Florida. He ends up at Arizona State. How has it been competing with him, with a guy with that pedigree, and has it been a battle that everyone thinks it's going to be?
It's been awesome just because what some parents and people don't realize is you want a competitive quarterback room. It makes every single person better. It builds relationships, and it really just boosts the team's ability to perform. And so to have such an intense competition and guys with elite ability, it's been awesome to push each other. He's a great kid. It's been exciting to see him grow as a high schooler and the college level. I think all of us had to deal with that at one point, just understanding how much faster the game is and how much quicker decisions need to be and how much your football IQ takes into play at the college level.
Jacob Conover, our guest here, live on a Monday morning. He'll be in St. George this Friday and Saturday. It's going to be over at Desert Hills High School. That's where they're hosting this D1 Dream Camp. If you want more details, just go to d1dreamcamp.com. You can register. You can see all the coaches. There's a ton of details on the website. And mention the combine, the skill work, the 7-on-7. Going to be an awesome 2 days. How did you guys get this D1 Dream Camp started? Was Kean Peely the one that kind of instrumented getting this started, Jacob? What's the backstory on this D1 Dream Camp? I mean, this all came about after the NIL, but this is a great way, I think, where you guys can go out and give back and help these youth.
Yeah, the person who brought me on, it was Jackson Kafusi, Pepe, and Keenan Peely. And, those three, were able to, I think their biggest thing was connecting football to kids who don't really, get a lot of chances to. And I think the biggest thing that came down was we had a lot of guys from St. George. And, it's up and coming. St. George is growing like crazy. And we just wanted to give kids the chance to experience what it is for these bigger camps that happen in Provo or in Arizona, where there's a lot more publicity. And so we had some amazing families down in St. George who helped us in all poly sports that allowed us to connect with all these kids. And so we had a great turnout last year, and we're looking for even a bigger turnout this year.
And for these kids that are coming out, I know you guys are doing a lot of the developmental help and stuff, but I know a lot of the talk these days, people are wondering, do college coaches still pay attention? What is your spiel to these kids when you're saying, like, yes, coaches do pay attention to these camps, and it is good to help your development?
Yeah, going to camp as a kid, I 100% believe it pays off in the end because of the knowledge you'll carry from camp to camp and the relationships you build. If you go into college camps having relationships built with the players around you, it's so much easier for you to connect with coaches and stand out and not be timid. You're taking the information that you're learning from us as college coaches for the players, and taking them to your own camps and your own high schools is just going to elevate your game and ultimately pay off in the long run.
Did you go to a lot of quarterback camps when you were a kid, Jacob? I mean, was that something every summer your dad was putting you in camp after camp after camp?
Oh, yeah. Now looking back at it, I started going to personal trainers and camps starting in the 3rd grade as, like a 9-year-old kid. And every summer and every chance that we had off, it was camps and camps and camps. And I can't thank my dad enough and my parents enough for that, just because of where I am now and realizing how much sacrifice it took from my parents. But in the long run, it's really what paid off. I was able to develop a confidence in myself through these camps and understood how to stand out as a player and also connect with people around me.
And Jacob, talk about the Pac-12 next year in the quarterback play with Bo Nix, Cam Rising, Penix, Sanders, Dante Moore, Shadur. I mean, all these guys. How is it going to stack up in your mind as far as the conferences go? Is this going to be the best quarterback conference in the nation?
It's been super awesome to see QBs emerge as elite players in the Pac-12, just because I think Pac-12 has been kind of put in the rearview seat, just over the Big 12, the Big 10, SEC, ACC, just because, they're saying it's not as high-level football, but it's been awesome to see all these QBs emerge and show that there still is elite quarterback play. And I think it's going to be impressive to watch this season, just to see everyone pan out and compete against each other.
I'm just curious. Won't keep you too much longer. Jacob Conover with us here live on the Fan Sports Network. When you open up a recruiting as you're coming out of high school, how is the recruiting different when you go into the portal? What's the biggest differences between coming out in high school recruiting wise and then going into the portal recruiting wise? Take me through that thought process and what's different.
Yeah, I wish I had the knowledge going into the portal that I did coming out of high school. I think kids get so caught up in the gimmicks and it's as seen it in hindsight, you're getting told everything you want to hear a lot, because coaches are recruiting you. They want the best players because they're always trying to bring in the new and the best and upcoming. But I wish I would have recruited the school as well. And so just understanding what I want, the things that are important, creating a list of maybe 5 key features that you want in a university, and then understanding some things you might have to sacrifice. And so coming out of high school, I think I wish I would have been more of a recruiter myself. And just understanding that, it's about not what the college needs, but it's what I need as a player. And so it was cool just to have another chance at that in the portal. So that was my biggest advice.
And Jacob, does your high school pedigree impact your portal standing? Because out of high school, you were the 11th ranked pro-style quarterback, a 4-star recruit. And I've seen it at different levels with JT Daniels, was a 5-star out of high school, and 4 different schools gave him an opportunity when he probably shouldn't have gotten those opportunities. Do you think that your pedigree out of high school impacts your transfer portal standing?
I think it didn't hurt me at all, but it definitely helped me. And so, I was fortunate to get a few reps at BYU, but ultimately that was one thing that was hard for me. I was like, a lot of these coaches haven't got to see me play, but they just have to trust in what I've done and my potential. And just because I haven't gotten on the field doesn't mean I can't perform. And so I think that definitely helped have some, backup for me just to realize, I'm still a player, I'm still a gamer, and just ready to sling it.
What were your thoughts when you saw Jaren Hall get picked by Minnesota in the NFL draft not too long ago? What was your reaction to where he went and that fit and knowing him and playing in that same quarterback room?
I have nothing but love for Jaren. I was so lucky to be in the quarterback room at BYU and just the relationships I had with him. I was his roommate for every away game, and so I got a lot of time to learn and just to become a great friend of his. And I'm grateful for that relationship, so I'm nothing but happy for him, just to be able to learn behind Kirk Cousins and to get a chance to perform and play and learn and develop as a QB and not to truly be thrown into the starting role and just get a time to continue to develop and take care of his family. I'm so excited for him.
Jacob Conover, going to be in St. George, D1 Dream Camp. Parents, if you have kids that are playing football or want to start playing football, it's this Friday and Saturday, May 12th and 13th over at Desert Hills High School. They'll have it broke down by grades, so they'll have the 3rd through 8th grades, and then they'll have the 8th through 12th grades go in different session. They'll go, I think 3 through 7 starts at 4 o'clock Friday, and then the older kids will go a little bit later, like at 6:30. So, and then again on Saturday, they've got 2 sessions as well, and then they'll have the combine and the skills development, and then the 7-on-7. Jacob, travel safe to St. George. Hopefully we'll see you over this weekend, and our studio's not too far from Desert Hills High School, so can't wait to see you looking for the next big thing and helping develop those skill work with our local kids, man. And great to have you on the show. Really appreciate you carving out some time. And best of luck at ASU this upcoming football season.
Thanks, Devin. I appreciate you having me.
All right, D1DreamCamp.com. Jacob Conover live with us on The Drive. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up a Monday here on the Fan Sports Network. Get you ready for the Night in Sports recap of the show so far and more. Show today brought to you by Coral Canyon Golf Course. Get your sticks out. If you want to drop your kids off at the D1 Dream Camp, head to Coral Canyon. Get your tee times by calling 688-1700. They have a $89 May special, 18 holes with cart. And you get any menu item off the Bistro 72 grill. Just call and get your tee times for this weekend, 688-1700. We'll be right back.